over my dead body are you having Benjamin? No, the man will not have my Benjamin. I've already lost my Joseph. He's not getting my Benjamin. And they're going, well, Papa, okay, just hold on to your Benjamin and just let your grandchildren starve to death. Because there's this famine in the land. Everybody is starving to death, and they can't go get more food unless Benjamin goes with them. That's what the man in Egypt says. You will not come and see my face again unless you've got Benjamin, your brother, with you. And so they can't go get more food, and Jacob is like, you will not take Benjamin. Okay, Papa, then we'll just watch us starve to death. And Jacob is in so much pain, he will not let go of Benjamin. And now his grandchildren are starving. And he's like, all these things are against me. I like the way the NIV says it. The NIV renders this verse, everything is against me. That's where Jacob is at 130 years old. Everything is against him. Heaven is against him. I mean, who do you blame for a famine? God's against me. Heaven's against me. The weather's against me. Egypt's against me. The most powerful man in Egypt is against me. What did I do to the man in Egypt? Everything is against me. And that's where Jacob is at 130 years old. But 35 years ago, I built an altar in Shechem, and I said, you are my God. Take Joseph. Take Simeon. Take Benjamin. Take them all. You are my God. And Jacob never backed off of that covenant. And he doesn't even see it coming. 3-4 weeks later, here comes a caravan from Egypt. What are the Egyptians doing coming to my house? Egyptian cards, Egyptian camp. What are the Egyptians doing coming to my house? What's it? Do I recognize that guy? It's Simeon. Papa, it's me, Simeon. I'm back. Do I recognize that other guy? It's Benjamin. Papa, it's me, Benjamin. I'm back. Judah comes. Papa, sit down. We have to have a talk. And Jacob is about to learn that his 10 sons have been living a lie with him for 22 years. For 22 years, pretending that Jacob had been killed, that Joseph had been killed by an animal, when in fact they knew they had sold him into Egypt. They lived that lie with their father for 22 years, and Jacob is about to discover the lie. I think it was an intense meeting. When we get to the other side, I have first dibs on that video. I'm checking that one out. I want to see that one because I think it was pretty intense. Now, the Bible only gives us one verse on it, and so give us Genesis 45:26, please. Genesis 45:26. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart stood still because he did not believe them. When you have been living in the kind of grief that Jacob's been living in for 22 years, sorrow, blackness, loss, when you've been living in that kind of darkness for 22 years, and then somebody comes along and turns on stadium lights. I mean, it is everything all at once. Suddenly the lights come on full blast. It was so much data overload. It was too much information. It was like, he could not. It was too good to be true. He couldn't believe it. It stunned him. It blinded him. It stopped his heart. Beloved, you and I serve a God of heart-stopping salvation who will come to you after years of blackness, years of sorrow, years of heartache, and will turn on the lights and hit you with his goodness so hard that it will blind you. It will stop your heart. And suddenly, Jacob has everything back. He's got Joseph back. He's got Simeon back. He's got Benjamin back. He gets a limo ride down to Egypt. He gets established in prosperity and abundance with his family in the land of Goshen. He blesses Pharaoh, the man on the planet. He blesses Pharaoh. And then he gets the funeral of the millennium. I mean, it just all comes crashing on his head in one moment of time. He goes from absolute blackness to having everything all at once. It is so bright, so dazzling, so sudden, so surprising. It stuns him. It stops his heart. I can imagine God planning this moment. Can't you just imagine God like, this is going to be good? Jacob, I just want to see the look on your face, buddy. Hang in there 3 more weeks, buddy. It's going to be good. I just want to see that look in your eyes when God gets out his gun. He's like, let's not kill him. Just put it on stun. Hits him with his bullet so hard it collides with Jacob's chest. It stuns him. It blinds him. It stops his heart. You were blindsided by grief, and now you will be blindsided by the goodness of God. 130 is pretty old. But if it's got this kind of a chapter in the story, I'll go for 130. And I'm trying to imagine what kind of a conversation did Jacob have with his beloved Lord as he's in the limo riding down to Egypt. What's the conversation like? What's Jacob saying in his heart as he's in the limo with everything, riding down to be established in abundance in Goshen? What is going on in his heart? The Bible doesn't give us any insight into it, so this is just my sanctified imagination, okay? But I think the conversation could have sounded like this. I thought you were against me. Heaven's against me. Egypt's against me. The weather's against me. Everything's against me. And now I see it. You were for me all along. When you took Joseph, you were for me. When you took Simeon, it was because you were for for me. When you took my Benjamin, you were for me. When you sent that famine, it was because you were for me. I thought you had forsaken me. You have been with me all along. I thought you were withholding yourself from me. You've been giving me your heart all along. I thought I was the one holding up the deal. I thought I was the one holding to the covenant. I thought I was the one holding to the altar at Shechem. And now I see it. You're the one that's held to the covenant. You're the one that's kept the vow. You're the one that's true to your word. You're the one that's good. You're the one that's true. You're the one that's righteous. You're the one that's merciful. You're the one that's compassionate. You are my God. Psalm 146, verse 5. Happy is he who has the God of Jacob for his help. Blessed is the man who has the God of Jacob for his help. Blessed is the woman who has the God of Jacob for her help. Blessed is the man who has the God of Jacob, who will look past the selfishness of your reach and will bring you in his mercy into his heart. Blessed is the man who has the God of Jacob for his help, who will give you a promise, and until the day he fulfills that promise, will now give you his presence to secure that promise and to guard that promise and to comfort your heart until that promise is fulfilled. Blessed is the man who has the God of Jacob for his help, who will take your hip out, change your name in order to infuse meekness into your spirit, that you might be empowered in grace to raise up a Joseph generation. Blessed is the woman who has the God of Jacob for her help, who will take the very darling of your eyes away from you. Blessed is the woman who has the God of Jacob for her help, who will take you through decades of darkness. Blessed is the man. Blessed is the woman. Oh, he's a good storyteller. Blessed is the man. Blessed is the... Oh, he's a good author. Blessed is the man. Blessed is the woman who has the God. Oh, he writes good stories. He finishes every chapter. Blessed is the man. Blessed is the woman who has the God of Jacob for their help, who will get out his gun and stun you with his promise so hard it will knock the breath out of you, it will blind you, it will stop your heart. May you know the God of Jacob. May he be your help. May you never let go of that promise. May you stay in the story, and may the God of Jacob fulfill that promise in your life and bring you through and give you a story for the generations. And I close now with Hebrews 11:21. By faith Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of the sons of Joseph and worshipped, leaning on the top of his staff. It's my understanding that shepherds back in those days would have a staff, sometimes for life. And it's my understanding that they had a custom back in those days, carry that thing around for life. They would at times that were significant, at crossroads, at memorials, they would put an etching into the staff, a carving of some sort, to etch something in just to commemorate that significant part of their story. So that by the time Jacob is 147, that's how old he is when he dies, 147, he had 17 years with Joseph in Joseph's youth, And he had 17 years with Joseph at the end. Kind of interesting that there's 2 17s on both sides of it. He dies at age 147. And by then, it's reasonable to suppose his staff had likely accrued a series of engravings that he would have engraved. Like, he sits down with the grandkids and they're like, Papa, what's this mark right here? Well, that's the time I married 2 sisters. Papa, what's this mark right here? This one is going to take a while. Son, sit down. I got a story to tell you. And his staff was his story. And at the end of his journey, he gathered his strength, pulled himself up, leaned on his staff, leaning on his very story, and he worshiped his God. I couldn't see my way. I didn't know where it was going. Nothing was coming together. The promises of God weren't working, but I stayed in the covenant. I held to your hand. I loved you in my darkness, and now at the end of my days, I stand and declare you are a good God. You are a faithful God. You fulfill your word. You have done as you have spoken. And at the end of his days, he leaned on his story to declare the faithfulness of God.
Amen.
And that's what I'm in this thing for. One of these days, by the grace of God, I want to stand, even as at the last days of my life, I want to stand and declare with my life story, he is good, he is faithful, he finishes what he starts. You can give him your heart, you can trust him. Never let go of that promise, even when it says to you, let me go. I'm not letting go. I will never let go.
Amen. Yes.
You are faithful and true. And now, God of Jacob, I pray. I'm just going to say it. You are my God.
Amen.
The God of Jacob is my God. If you feel the same way, I invite you to stand.